West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show, worthy of all the Bill Murray quotes out there.
Yes.
We are talking Trump, Rubio halting work visas for CDL drivers here in the country in light of the accident that took place in Florida. Do we need to review current CDL operations, how people are getting their licenses, all that? Absolutely. I think Trump is right to pause this. Text message is great on this. People actually texting in the law itself. I think that's what they're saying. It says that one of the general qualifications for being a CDL driver is that you're at least 21 years old and can read and speak the English language sufficiently to converse with the general public, to understand highway traffic signs and signals in the English language, and to respond to official inquiries and to make entries on reports and records. So it feels like already the laws aren't being followed, so we've got to clamp down on this. Let's go back to Mary in Wyoming, who at one point was a CDL driver. Good morning, Mary. Thanks for joining us.
I have to agree with what you're saying as far as the laws are not being, and it has to stop with the truck driving schools, because that is how they're getting into the system.
Yeah, because I would assume that, and this is also what I worry about, is that if we're just worried about these foreign-born truck drivers, could there also be American-born truck drivers that might not be up to par as well?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So
yes.
And that's what I'm worried about, is I feel that, again, what Rubio's doing is the idea of, okay, when something's going wrong, just doing something can help. It can also hurt. And what I'm worried about is this seems somewhat to be just an effort to do something, not to necessarily examine the problem or any possible solution.
Yeah, but
this
Bill,
is just
this
a
is
something.
Just step one. This isn't the only step. They're not going to do this and go, all done.
Do we know that, though? I mean, how do we know there are any other steps?
Well, I imagine they should go right through all the CDLs.
They didn't
No,
say
I think,
anything.
you
They
know,
didn't say
your-
any of the steps. They didn't say it's the
Your
first step.
CDL to me is like, in other words, I had to go through my training with the company to be able to get my license. And then I had to go to the DMV and take the written test, and didn't have to do I had to do my driver's test too. The thing that I'm struggling with on that is like your children, when they go and get their car, yes, there are better ones, inexperienced ones, etc. But we know, the test is very thorough. I remember, if I remember right, I thought it was 24 pages in the manual that you had to study. The reason I'm bringing that up is that it's the experience on the road, just like with your children, that are going to make you a good driver or a bad driver. But you need to understand the rules. If you're American born, you're speaking English, you know what the signs are. So in other words, I don't think that that's where we should focus on. Yes, you can get your test here in Colorado, your written and your letter all in your own language and not in English. That should not be able to happen. That test should be in English.
Mary, I agree entirely with you. I really appreciate your experience. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Text messages right on this one as well. 5090. We got to check out these CDL mill schools. Essentially, are they just pushing people through? Chameleon companies, they call them.
Oh, yeah, sure they are.
That just push people through, not really qualified. Bill, I think we can all agree that whatever Trump and Rubio are doing, it's got to include that as well.
Yeah, it's the question for those companies is, did the check clear? Because once they have you, because here's what I'm seeing so far just on basic research, is once they clear you and give you the license and get you out on the road, wash your hands of it. My hands are clean. There's no impact. There's no negativity there. I can't even find anything that necessarily rates whether or not a test from one company versus another is necessarily better. But does it matter? Is it just I've got my CDL and hire me? Is it not looking at where the diploma comes from, that it's coming from either Arapahoe Community College or Harvard? Is there, and again, sorry about Arapahoe Community College, but you do good stuff, but you're not the Harvard. You are the Harvard of the community colleges, though, in my mind, but at least that's for today. But still, the idea being that which one would you hire to do X, Y, or Z in your company, so where is it? But everything that I'm seeing seems to be what Merritt outlined is once they kick you out of that CDL process, they wipe their hands of it. And I heard from a truck driver off air who didn't have time to spend time with us on air, but said that even if you show up at the state, at the DMV, they will have a translator for you there. And he was worried that is the translator necessarily always giving you the accurate information and then reporting the right information back? And the idea being that, well, does the translator decide the answer's close enough? Or does the translator say, when you see the stop sign, what are you supposed to do? Yeah. And you're like, but you just told him. Yeah.
Right. Now the whole system's got to be reviewed. All right. Appreciate everyone's calls and texts. We got Representative Brandi Bradley coming up next. Now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Good morning, 61 and cloudy in Denver. We are expecting a high of 73 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, House Democrats pushing forward a bill to protect quote, reproductive health care access for Medicaid patients during Colorado's ongoing special legislative session. Senate Bill 25B2, approved Sunday along party lines, restores state funding for evil providers like Planned Parenthood after new federal rules cut them out of Medicaid reimbursement. The bill covers services like cancer screenings, STI testing, and birth control, but not abortion, which federal Medicaid law already restricts. Republicans argue the state can't afford the move. With more than $1 billion budget shortfall, the bill now heads to the governor's desk. National Guard troops in D.C. have begun carrying firearms as part of 47's crackdown on crime.
Troops deployed to the nation's capital as part of President Trump's crackdown on crime will continue to focus their work on protecting federal assets and providing a safe environment. Meanwhile, Trump is turning his attention to Baltimore, threatening to send troops. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said that Maryland Governor Wes Moore's record on crime is a, quote, very bad one, and said he'll send troops to the city if he thinks it needs help. I'm Monica Nelson.
And as Jeff and Billy were talking about last hour, illegals driving semis and other commercial vehicles, CDL licenses, and innocent people dying on the highways and roads like what we saw in Florida and what we saw here in Colorado a few times. The Florida AG with another case this morning.
Last night, we saw another example. We were able to arrest an individual who was in the country illegally, who was driving a commercial vehicle in Bay County. The individual, Roberto Carlos Vergara, has been arrested and is now under an ICE hold. There's no telling how many illegal aliens are in this country driving large commercial vehicles and putting American families in a safety risk every single day.
And as ordered, Kilmar Garcia, the Maryland man, a Salvadoran illegal who has a long rap sheet in fighting deportation in court, reported to an ICE field office in Baltimore this morning.
Brothers and sisters, my name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and I want you to remember this. Remember that I am free, and I was able to be reunited with my family.
That's his interpreter. Oh, he's such a victim. The Maryland man, as expected, was taken into ICE custody ahead of his arrival. His lawyer said it's expected that he'll be sent to Uganda. That's a beautiful place this time of year. They claim the Trump administration offered to deport him to Costa Rica if he pleaded guilty to human smuggling charges, but if he didn't agree to the plea deal, they would deport him to the African nation. Have fun. Wildfires are spreading in California and Oregon as hot and dry weather makes things more difficult for firefighters. The Picket Fire is burning in California's Napa County. At last check, it had burned more than 6,800 acres and 11% contained. Word on the street, Gavin Newsom is waiting behind one of the burning trees, preparing to gobble up the land for his elite buddies. A crosswalk in Orlando is drawing a lot of attention. Florida Department of Transportation crews painted over the crosswalk on Sunday that had been painted rainbow colors for the 49 people killed in the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting. It was the second time FDOT has covered the crosswalk with black paint to comply with the federal order. So they're up in arms about that. There's a protest planned for today over New York City, allowing for the testing of self-driving vehicles. We talked about that last hour. On Friday, Mayor Eric Adams signed an executive order allowing Waymo to test autonomous cars in Manhattan and downtown Brooklyn so long as a person remains behind the wheel. Rockies, the first team to be mathematically eliminated from the postseason.
We're number one. We're number one. We're number one.
We did it again. We did it again. We are number one.
We are. Look at us.
We clear it up quickly.
You know, people
put
said
it in the books.
Yeah, people said at the beginning of the season that we didn't have the ability. They questioned whether or not the Rockies really had the type of organization that could be eliminated before the end of August. But despite all the naysayers, all the doubters all over the world, the Rockies managed through grit, determination, and complete ineptitude. We have now been eliminated. Congratulations. This is great.
No one believed in us.
No one thought we had a chance, but yes.
No one thought that we had a chance.
Yes.
Thought we would finish maybe second or third in the mathematical elimination.
No. We do this right, people. When we fail, we fail with style. This is great.
We get it done before September.
Yes, we make sure. Yes.
Put it in the books.
Yeah. God, we suck. We're awful. It's so funny.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it is.
And Shadur Sanders said, obviously, he'll make the 53-man roster with the Browns after a horrible day over the weekend. Sacked 5 times and threw for 14 yards. He didn't step up in the pocket, climb the pocket. He's going to have a problem if he tries to get out of there and try to scramble all the time. That's not going to be good. 60 in Lone Tree, 59 in Broomfield, 61 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Upslope conditions and subtropical moisture will be right on top of all of Colorado this week, giving us cool and occasionally wet conditions. Highs only near 70 or so today, with areas of morning low clouds and fog. Lower 70s to the middle to upper 70s at best for Tuesday through Friday, with a daily chance today through Friday for showers and thunderstorms. Weather, a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. The state of Colorado is facing a $1.2 billion budget shortfall. Governor Polis and House Speaker Julie McCluskey crying foul, claiming they need to dip into reserves, cut programs, close tax loopholes to balance the budget. But let's cut through the noise. The shortfall isn't Trump's fault. It's years of Democrat overspending, as Republicans have pointed out. Colorado's budget has ballooned 50% while our population has grown less than 5%. She's been down there. She's on the front line. She's joining us right now, Representative Brandi Bradley. Good morning, Representative. Thank you for joining the Jeff and Bill Show.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
You got to give us an update on what's going down there. I'm watching videos of Ken DeGraff being put in timeout.
Yeah. Regardless of what happened, I think we had a better weekend than you did, just in general.
I mean, I think the whole state of Colorado, the Rockies had a better weekend than I had.
Nice one. High five. That is fantastic.
I mean, you know, the nonsense, you guys, we're there to cut $800 million. And I literally heard a bill yesterday that's going to add $4 million to the budget to give to Planned Parenthood every year. What are we doing?
That sounds exactly like what Democrats will do. They will literally make sure that we can cover abortions at the expense of everything else. So give us a sense of what it's like on the floor. I mean, we're watching some of these news reports. What's going to come out of this? Are we going to end up with more taxes as a result of this special session?
Well, small businesses are paying the consequences of Democrat overspending, and it's really sad. We're the sixth most regulated state with 200,000 regulations in the state on small businesses, and now we're going to take away the qualified business income deduction. We're going to take away the vendor fee, which gives them an administrative break for remitting their sales tax, and it's incredulous, you guys. Like, they're going to leave our state, and they should. We're going to make small businesses pay for this budget overspending.
Now, tell us what Republicans have tried to do. You had the opportunity to introduce some bills. What have Republicans said the solution should be?
So Scott Bottoms and I tried to pass a bill would give $400 million in the next 2 years if we cut taxpayer-funded elective procedures like abortion and gender cosmetic surgeries for men to look like women and illegal immigrant health care. That would give the state $400 million so that people could be on SNAP benefits, so that people that actually need health care, federally qualified health centers in our rural communities that are barely operating above the red line could get funding to keep those afloat. And they, within minutes, killed our bills. Another representative tried to raise the vendor fee so small businesses can keep afloat in these economic times. These are the people that are giving the economy the upward spend that we see in Colorado, and they killed every single Republican bill. This is a predetermined outcome. They didn't want the Republicans to have a seat at the table, and this is what we're seeing. And so you blame the Democrats for what comes out of this special session.
That's Representative Brandi Bradley. I mean, look, we saw polls last week coming out where Coloradans are saying the government doesn't work for me. It's too expensive to live in this state. And now you have a special session, which just seems like it's going to confirm that, right? The government's not working for people, and it's just going to get more expensive. Your thoughts?
Well, they're not reading the room, right? We are one of the least affordable states. We're one of the least safe states. Our roads are crumbling. Education's horrible here. And what do you get for that? You get a state that is more costly to live. I mean, I go to the grocery store. I feed a family of 7. I see it. That's why I'm fighting down there. It would be different if, it was more costly to live here and our roads were perfect and our education system was great and you felt safe in your communities, but that's not what we're getting. And the Democrats aren't reading the room. They're trying to blame the big, beautiful bill, and that doesn't even go into effect until next year. And so the blame is solely on the Democrat regime, which has grown our government 50% with a population increase of 5%. I mean, you guys can do the math. You don't have to be Ken DeGraff.
No, Representative Brandi Bradley, where's the money going? I mean, we're spending, as you said, our budget's ballooned 50%. Where's the money going?
Well, I mean, during COVID, we added 6,000 new employees while small businesses were tanking. Administratively, we keep adding new offices, new departments, new staff. It's unbelievable. Take the Wolf bill, right? The Wolf bill added $1.6 million just for staffing. That's a great illustration. $3 million in 1 year and $1.6 million went to staff.
That and money going out the door to provide services for illegal immigrants, too. I mean, as we've heard on this show when we had Barb Kirkmeyer on, we are constitutionally required to educate every child in the state. So if you bring in 42,000 illegal immigrants, like the city of Denver did, well, money's going to go to them in education. So that's where a lot of this money is going. Now, Representative Brandi Bradley, you're a staunch defender of Tabor. How do you respond to Democrats like Senate President James Coleman, who blamed Trump's tax cuts? Oh, my goodness. Blame Trump's tax cuts for this crisis and want to weaken Tabor's protection. Are Democrats going to be able to weaken Tabor through this special session?
Well, I think that they're already usurping the people by saying that all of these bills are de minimis in impact, and so that they can go, they don't have to, it doesn't affect Tabor. I think that the lawyers, listen, we're running small businesses out of Colorado, but the lawyers are ready. I think they're ready to jump on this special session and rule some of these bills unconstitutional. I think that these bills go against Tabor. I think Tabor limits what they can do as far as these tax changes, and I think that they're going to be ruled unconstitutional, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it takes years of fighting that in the courts to finally come through. And as we're going to see, things are just going to get more and more expensive in the state of Colorado. Representative Brandi Bradley talking to us about this special session now to try to face a $1.2 billion budget shortfall at the state capitol. What are you hearing from your constituents?
Well, they're angry, right? At my town halls, we have a DD waiver list, a developmental disability. We have over 1,000 people on that wait list waiting for Medicaid services. So while we're spending hundreds of $millions on illegal immigrants, there are children with cerebral palsy and autism that are having their services cut. We have another 4,000 kids just waiting to get on the list. So when people are all mad at me about, well, illegal immigrants need health care. Well, what about these kids in my community that need health care? What about the veterans that are having their Medicaid slashed? They need health care. So you can't pick and choose. These people are the taxpayers of our community, and they don't deserve to have their Medicaid services slashed. They are waiting to get these services, and they've been waiting for years. And it's not fair to those people in my community to have to wait for them.
Now, in the last election, Republicans gained ground in the House. How do you plan to leverage this special session, push back against the Democrat-led tax hikes, and ensure that the special session, you know, if it does come down to a Democrat tax increase, how do you leverage that in the next election to get more Republicans in there?
I'm hopeful that Trump lays down the law on these mail-in ballots and makes our elections fair and with integrity. I don't believe we have fair elections in the state of Colorado. I think Tina Peters was integral in saying that. We tried to pass clean voter rolls. They don't want that, and there's a reason they don't want that. We spend $19 million on giving illegal immigrants driver's licenses in the state. So there's a reason they don't want fair elections. But listen, they didn't think that we were going to get as much as we get on social media. I have so many followers with the stuff that you guys put out there and social conservative radio. We are getting it out to the people of Colorado, and they didn't expect that, and we're going to win at the polls next year. I promise you that.
That's Representative Brandi Bradley giving us an update down on the special session. Now, how many more days? When's this thing going to wrap up? What's the future look like here?
Oh, Jeff, that's funny, isn't it? Supposedly tomorrow. We shall see. I mean, it's only $50,000 a day to spend taxpayer money, you know?
To fix a budget deficit that, by the way, a reminder to everybody, the governor could have just done this himself. He could have just said 2% cut across all the...
add up
Go ahead.
the Democrat bills, it's only $220 million they're fixing with these bills, and we're supposed to fix $1 billion. So that means, guess what? Your governor's going to dip into the reserves. So they didn't come here to actually fix the budget with a $200 million bill cut. They came here to play around with taxpayer money for the governor to dip into reserves.
I think what voters are waking up to, and I sure hope they are, and one of the best examples of how even progressives are waking up to this is Ezra Klein's book that basically makes the argument that Democrats can't build anything. They can't manage anything. As text messages are pointing out, we have potholes everywhere, but yet they seem to want to put bike lanes up. They can't deliver on education. They can't deliver on health care. They can't deliver on roads. They can't deliver on making things more affordable. Look at the trains to nowhere in California. Look at how long it took them to fix the 16th Street Mall, how long it's taken to fix DIA. They can't build. It's always twice as expensive, always twice as long. Everything's more expensive when Democrats are in control, and they can't really point and tell you where the money's going. So I hope that there's a waking up that takes place in light of the special session. Representative Brandi Bradley, among other Republicans down at the state capitol, fighting to the point where Democrats have to turn off the mic and escort them out, put them in timeout because they're fighting so much down there. We appreciate the work you're doing. You can follow Representative Brandi Bradley on X at Bradley for CO, Bradley for CO. She's a lot of fun to follow there. Representative, we know you have a very busy day ahead of you. Thank you for taking time to join the Jeff and Bill Show.
I think we're losing her on the cell phone connection.
Say that again, Representative.
I said, thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll continue to track what's happening down there. But bottom line, sounds like small businesses are going to pay the brunt of this as they have some of their tax breaks taken away.
Well,
so
the thing
congratulations.
Is, those on that end of the spectrum always will, because who lobbies for the small businesses? Just like who lobbies for the middle class.
Yeah.
If I'm a billionaire, if I'm Mark Zuckerberg, I can make a phone call and I can talk to the president, if not his top economic advisors, and I can talk to him about why this economic policy or that economic policy is going to hurt me. I call the same office, they hang up. Probably deserved still, but that's the issue. Is those on the upper end of the spectrum, large companies, large bank accounts, have the ability to lobby and maneuver public policy in ways everybody else doesn't. So it is not a surprise that when we have to try to close a budget loophole, it is going to be balanced in two areas. One on small businesses, two on the middle class. Bottom line, if they close this loophole, those are the two groups that are going to bear most of the brunt. It's just how it works.
Bill, you're not wrong
it's
about
a Monday.
that.
This is great.
It's Monday. Text message is 3674. Wadsworth has been under construction since I was born.
Yeah, I know. Seems inevitable. Yes.
Look, let's talk our friend Dan Kaplis with Dan Kaplis Law. Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values, because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everybody involved in the case. Dan Kaplis, the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's spent 40 years of his life helping people who are hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Kaplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Kaplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. Here's the phone number, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551, or hit DanKaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. All right, we'll continue with your phone calls and texts. What do you think about this special session? I mean, do you think that they're making the right decisions?
Are they going to be able to fix anything?
That it is?
That's what I want to know.
Right. Is it Trump's tax cuts that are really wrecking Colorado's budget? Or are his tax cuts a win for the Colorado economy and it's a spending issue? You Democrats, you never saw a project you didn't love to spend other people's money doing. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us at 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We just had a great conversation with Representative Brandi Bradley. The state of Colorado is facing a $1.2 billion budget shortfall. They've got to somehow fill the gap. Who do you blame? Is it Trump's one big beautiful bill that's put us in this position? Or is it Democrat spending? Republicans pointing out down there that our budget has ballooned 50% while our population has grown less than 5%. So where is all the money going? Well, it's going to a lot of these progressive projects, right? We're providing school and health care for illegal immigrants. We're providing abortions. And in fact, Democrats down at the state capitol going, whoa, hold on. Out of everything else we might cut, we sure got to make sure we have abortions paid for by taxpayers. And then surgeries, trans surgeries as well. So in many ways, we're not going to cut anything. We're just going to increase taxes. But as Brandi pointed out, well, all right, this thing will eventually get sued in court, but that's 4 or 5 years. And I think Democrats have learned that, is that they can jump on with their progressive policies. Lawsuits take place, 4 or 5 years. They'll get the tax revenue and continue to do their progressive plans. But look, everything in Colorado is getting more expensive. Polls show that people are frustrated with it. So Democrats coming out of this special session looking good, like they fixed a problem, Bill? Or looking like they just doubled down on progressive policies at the expense of Colorado taxpayers?
I think it's going to be determinant based on messaging, especially out of the GOP, because messaging has to be focused and there has to be some discipline behind it. And what I mean by that is you need to focus on this is a special session to close a budget loophole, meaning we need to cut money and Democrats want to spend more. That's it. That is all the message needs to be. That's all it should be. Anything that is a variant outside of that core, in my opinion, harms a GOP conservative message in this special session. It should be, we don't have enough money. Instead of trying to balance and close the loophole, they want to spend more money. I mean, it's that easy, and that's also easily digestible by the average voter. If the GOP wants to make hay off of this, that's how it goes. Anything else is just going to muddy the waters. And the Democrats are going to try to muddy the waters because what the Democrats are going to do is say these cuts are going to harm programs that we care about. Not that are always necessary, but the Democrats, in my mind, are going to lean on the care and the emotional side of it. And they're going to say, we care about this and think about all the harm that'll be done if we don't fund these programs. So we are going to change this money allocation, or we are going to make sure that when these programs are cut, the cut is not going to be as steep. They're going to avoid the extra allocation of money. And that has to be something that's pointed out. Anything else that is done around this, I think, will harm either party's position. You force the Democrats into defending why they're trying to increase money while we are at a budget deficit, they're going to be put in a hard place. But if the GOP shows that they're concerned about anything other than closing the budget loophole, then they're going to be put in a hard place because they're going to look at, it's going to come across as, wait, you're mad about the budget hole, but you're more concerned about these other things. Stop getting mad at me about what they want to spend the money on. Talk to me about the fact that they're spending more money. You're not going to necessarily win some of the persuasion argument about Democrats want to spend more money on abortion. As soon as you tag in the abortion thing, you're going to lose some people emotionally. But as soon as you just Democrats want to spend more money on programs, we need to solve this budget deficit. That's it. That's the message. And I'm worried that too much of the politics is going to be lost in the core message on both sides. And at the bottom line, you, myself, and our voters are going to end up paying more in one way or another. Yeah.
I mean, at a certain point, you would hope that it would connect with voters, but I don't have much hope because you look at California, Washington, Oregon, New York.
Yeah.
They continue to balloon the programs that they do their spending on. Everything gets more expensive. Everything is overregulated, and voters just continue to go, you know who we should have? Democrats. And then they just complain in polls.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, okay.
And I think part of it, though, and this is just kind of a larger argument, is that, and this isn't on a state issue, but in a national level right now, we were sold the idea of the economy being so bad that nobody can afford anything, yet we're still seeing prices go up. And that is a hard thing. And what I say is because when you say, Jeff, about when Democrats in charge, everything gets more expensive. Well, if you want to hang your hat on that, then when Republicans are in charge, things better get less expensive. And unfortunately, in the near term, and because we don't have long memories as voters inside of America, in the near term, that hasn't proven to be true. I'm not saying Democrats make things less expensive, but what we're seeing is that Republican policies have not so far made things less expensive. So that's a hard sell. It's going to be difficult to get those persuadable voters to buy into that. It's a difficult thing to sell them. That's why I think it's a stronger sell. We have a budget deficit. We're spending too much. You know how that works in your family. They don't want to close it. They don't want to do the hard choices in order to make sure that our credit card balance isn't out of whack, just like our listeners have had to do in their lives. That, I think, is a stronger message to persuade voters, that one group is economically insolvent. But
all right, we're coming out of a special session. They're expecting to wrap this up in the next day or two. It's running 35 to 50 grand a day in a special session that didn't need to be had in order to address a budget deficit that Jared Polis could have just done himself. He could have just done a 2% cut across all of his departments, and woohoo! Oh, look, things are done.
He could have even targeted it.
Yeah,
He could have gone into
5% here, 1% here.
Yeah, he didn't have to say 2%. He could have picked his favorites. He could have picked his favorite programs and left them fine. And he could have gone after, and this is the weird part, he could have gone after other programs that maybe he doesn't like politically, that maybe he doesn't agree with, and he could have cut their budget. He could have used this to gain things. There could be policies that he disagrees with. Maybe there's something the Democrats have passed that he disagrees with. This would have given him power to exert some control over that. But in the one time, he doesn't take it. The thing for me is, it shows a lack of leadership. And the idea being that if you want to get to that next level, if you want to be El Presidente, then you need to be in an area where, this is the thing, like him or not like him, President Trump says, we're going to cut this, we're cutting out the Department of Education, we're doing this Doge thing, we're doing this, and we're cutting this, we're cutting this. Whether or not he has the power or the ability is necessarily irrelevant. What he is doing is leadership. Now, you can agree, sometimes the leader can lead you off the edge of a cliff. Sometimes they lead you to glory, sometimes to defeat. Ask Custer's men. Not so great there. But that doesn't mean that the leadership necessarily, is ignored. So what I'm seeing in Polis is just a sheer lack of leadership. And that, I think, is going to hurt his abilities to get to the next level. This is an opportunity for leadership. I don't see it here.
Yep. Text messages coming in on this one, 2983. Jeff, weren't you just cheerleading more regulations this morning? And like I said then during the, I think, 7 o'clock hour when we talked about the funeral homes, that I am not a libertarian. I'm not for no government whatsoever.
No, you're not.
But I'm for some areas, yeah. Like, for instance, making sure that commercial truck drivers know the English language.
Good one. Nicely done.
That's one regulation I'm okay with. Also, putting a body in a back room for 15 years. Yeah, that shouldn't be allowed either.
Maybe closet storage for dead people is something that we need to have rules and regulations about.
Right.
Yes. Good job. Good job.
No, there are some regulations I'm okay with.
Nicely done.
All right, let's talk Gyrie's. Love this store. I didn't even know stores like Gyrie's existed. When it came to home improvements, I oftentimes thought I was on my own. I could never afford one of those like extreme makeover home edition changes to my house. So I was over in the big box stores, wandering around, looking at different paints, having no idea what a sheen was on a particular paint or anything like that. So I was stuck, oftentimes on my own, to figure it out. And then my wife and I went to Gyrie's in Parker, and it was fantastic. We sat down with a professional designer, and they showed us everything, all these different opportunities. Hunter Douglas custom blinds and shades and shutters, paint, home decor, all of it. My wife got to ask tons of different questions. And then, best of all, they came out to our house and brought their samples so we could see what the colors look like in the lighting in our house so we could everything be perfect, from the color of the paint to the exact measurements of our blinds. We have really enjoyed working with Crystal over at Gyrie's and Parker. So they will come out, offer an in-home personalized consultation. You can get the same expert advice we got in our home. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit Gyrie's to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. GUIRYS.com. See the great people at Gyrie's. You'll be sure to thank me. All right, we'll take your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, August 27th, join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 1595 South Colorado Boulevard in Denver. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill Show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, August 27th at IHOP.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Text messages hot on Colorado's special session. How people feel about it. Not great. Not great. They're come away from this not going, wow, I'm so glad the Democrats solved that problem for us. They really got in there and rolled up their sleeves and made life better for all of us. Not really. But Billy and I are going to try to make your life a little better this Wednesday. We're hosting a live broadcast at the IHOP off of I-25 in Colorado Boulevard, where you can come hang out, see the whole show production. We'll have people in, guests. We'll talk to some of the people that join us there as well. So you can be on air, and most importantly, enjoy delicious breakfast for only $7.10, right, Bill?
Yeah, this is going to be cool. Come hang with us at the IHOP right there at I-25 and Colorado Boulevard, just a little bit north of that intersection. Swing on out with us. We're there from 6 to 10. You can spend 5 minutes or 4 hours with us. Doesn't matter. Get a fresh, hot cup of coffee or come and have breakfast with us. Yeah, Mike Boyle has helped hook us up with the IHOP special. $7.10 gets you their big, giant breakfast. Eggs any way you want. Your choice of meats, the sausage or the bacon, and then the pancakes. $7.10. You're getting that. I mean, this is just huge. Normally, it doesn't even fit on one plate. So this is what you got to do. Come on down. Join us. $7.10. It's the best breakfast deal you've got available to you that morning. Plus, cooked to order, made hot and fresh, better than anything. You're going to fly through those fast food aisles or going through those coffee stores or anything like that. Plus, coffee's absolutely delicious. And we're entertaining. We're a lot of fun to be around. We'll sit there and we'll have fun with you, and we can chat off air and goof around. So, yeah, we're going to be at the IHOP, I-25 Colorado Boulevard location this Wednesday. Come on out, and would love to see those Kyle's Caring t-shirts as well. Saw one last time. Let's see if we can get more. Yeah.
Kyle's going through a tough time.
It is. You need some emotional support.
Could you, I mean, just the strategy on it, I find shocking.
Yeah, and what? Like what?
Well, if you're not following the news on this one, Kyle Clark is not happy that Channel 9 may be sold along with a dozen other stations to another company. So the parent company that owns Channel 9 is selling, I think, roughly 40 or 50 stations to another company, and the FCC has to approve it. And in light of all this, I just find it intriguing that Kyle's making a big stink. Like, you know, if we were acquired by another company, I think I'd be pretty nice to the company that's acquiring us.
The thing for me is,
instead of getting Jared Polis, Phil Weiser, and every other Democrat leader out there to condemn it.
Yeah, I think it's one. I think it's the Democrats are dumb because they're attacking this incorrectly. Again, surprise. The Democrats not understanding what the real problem is. The core of the problem is not ownership. Get over that. Stop being so self-righteous about yourselves and the ownership and everything else, okay? You've been owned by several giant, big corporate conglomerations. You've dealt with this before, and each one of them is going to have different ideas and different purposes. Now, you may not like necessarily the editorial direction, and this one may take more editorial control than you've seen in the past, but where you are missing the argument, is share a voice.
Yeah,
that's the
I
argument.
just would love to see Kyle Clark have to deal with more editorial.
The thing for me is, this is the idea is that if you're celebrating this and going, haha, this is great, this is wonderful, the Channel 9 may actually be torn apart and they can't be as liberal anymore. This is what I'm asking. What about share a voice? Is this a better media town now that we have one newspaper, or was it better when we had two? Is this a better radio town when we had multiple radio station owners, or now where we basically have three big ones and a couple of smaller ones, and we are in that smaller category? Is the marketplace better? Is the share of voice better? I am agnostic based on the direction of politics a voice necessarily has in media. What I'm asking for is a divergence of many voices. I think that benefits a community and benefits a market.
Yeah, but that's social media now. That's social media. Part of all this is broadcast television is dying. Nobody watches broadcast television.
I disagree with the idea of that social media solves the problem of share of voice in a marketplace. Social media just allows everybody to have a voice. When I'm talking about share of voice, I'm talking about major media outlets. So the idea being this, that, okay, here would be the idea. Let's say that one company came in that was just like Channel 9 and owned all the TV stations. Would you then say that Kyle Clark is absolutely correct in critiquing you if you said, oh my God, it's going to be all liberal news media right now? And he goes, you have social media. Have fun. Do they exist in the same world? Do they do the same thing? I think they're different. I think that they are different entities. So when I talk about share of voice, especially with things that are constrained like broadcast licenses, I think share of voice matters. And so that's it.
I don't. I think the whole industry's wrapping up. You and I live in this reality every single day. The broadcast radio, for instance, is changing dramatically, and we have to put just as much time into promoting social media conversations and YouTube and Instagram and all that other stuff as we do our radio show, because the whole dynamic's changing. But I have no love lost for the fall of Channel 9 and Kyle Clark, and the fact that you have Jared Poulos and Phil Weiser and Mike Johnston and Michael Bennett all wringing their hands. Oh, my goodness. Oh, no, what's going to happen to local journalists? Give me a break. They don't care about local journalism. They know that Kyle Clark is their primary mouthpiece, and it is on full display in them freaking out over this merger because they're afraid that their prime show pony is going to be forced out.
Here's the thing. I believe at the core, even though conservatives celebrate the potential demise of Channel 9, conservatives do care about share of voice and have for years. Because
I'm just saying it's all changing.
No, I get it. No, but I'm saying that you care, that it's an issue for you, because how many times have I heard over decades a complaint about the liberal mainstream media?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, 100%. You're right in that.
That is a decade-long complaint of share of voice.
The reality is we don't need to have equal share broadcast so long as you have other avenues like social media.
I'm not looking for equal. I'm looking for divergent. And when you only have one voice out there, that's an issue for me. I'm not talking about equal. I'm talking about different. That's important to me.
Billy's always been different. All right.
Oh, hell
we'll
yeah.
continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is 710 KNUS.